My back does not appreciate that at all.
Was it worth it?
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, I've got some stories.
Oh, you have some incredible stories, and inquiring minds want to know. Well, we'll just tell you why. It's because
Getting old. This is what they say about getting old. It's not necessarily graceful. I'm talking to the lady that's in a knee brace.
I know, like stereotypical, like old couple with the.
I don't enjoy running at all.
Yeah.
They had to drag me off the floor as I'm like whimpering, and I'm laying there for like 20 more minutes because I can't move. No, I laid there like a limp dead fish. That day was the greatest thing. They gave me laughing gas. I got a shot in the butt. I mean,
That couple's in trouble.
But you know it.
The physics of being 9 months pregnant, bending down, trying to, they're all about you and
Very
taking
concerned
care
about
of
me.
you. Hello.
Yeah, I totally stole your show that night. I mean, I did get a Medal of Honor for it.
You did. You got that gold medal. Like,
Gold star. Praise Jesus.
praise Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Can I get a witness?
Yeah. We're both smiling at each other because I think that's one of those things that you believe that you help a lot. And then there's things that we pay people to do.
And then there's things that we pay people to do.
Which gets longer and longer and longer. And we ran head first into a moving car.
Yes. My brother just got hit by a car.
I still think it was a sabotage deal. But someone cut his brake line.
Yeah, it's a pretty wicked scar.
Yeah.
Isn't that always how it happens?
It's always how it happens.
It's always the one more time.
Yeah.
And it is a gash that you could measure. And I was like, I will go a little faster.
And I've been there for a while now. It's like when I was younger. So for the record, don't do this.
Don't do this. And I was like, what? And 2008,
Yeah.
believe it or not, was a really long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, and that's bad. But I think her justification, even after the fact, that's almost worse.
Blasé about it, I just wanted you to have a dose of reality.
And who named her?
Right.
Don't you dare have a positive attitude going into something that could just ruin your life.
Right.
They got a name for that lady.
Aww.
No, I'm coming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gearing up and I'm coming. I will get you. Megan's back to back. You are a very important person. A Bunsen burner incident. Bunsen burners are how I lost my eyelashes, by the way.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds dangerous.
Well, that don't go well together, right? Because we're idiots, right?
What?
I got away with it.
One was super fun. That was the Halloween blizzard.
Yeah.
But yeah, we couldn't even see out some of our windows because there was just too much snow.
Yeah.
The actual temperature was negative 36 degrees, and the wind chill was negative 66, I think. We're wearing heated apparel at this point. Randy,
Yeah.
I can't put my arms down. If you have a doxy, they hate snow. So,
We're not on the same page all the time because you're not necessarily finishing my...
excursions.
There you go. That one works. Rock talk.
Welcome to the Mr. and Mrs. Inglis Podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shaen. We're here to talk about the wild ride of raising kids, growing careers, and keeping life together in the middle of all the chaos.
So buckle up, because we're all in this crazy journey together.
How did you know it was episode 11 so quickly?
Episode 11 so quickly? Well,
Yeah.
'cause last week's was episode 10.
Oh, okay.
Seriously?
Yeah, I haven't been counting, I guess, as well as you have.
When I do the video, I put the things up, everything's episode 10 or episode 10 teaser, episode 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very aware.
You are.
Episode 11, yeah, we're into double digits. It's crazy.
Wow, yay, we made it.
Yeah. So, well, welcome, everybody. Episode 11.
Episode 11.
That's right. Well, I know if you see me looking uncomfortable and squirming a little bit, if you're watching it on YouTube, I know you can't tell when, maybe I'll groan a little bit or whatnot, but I left you last week saying, hey, it's spring and we're going to start, cleaning up for spring and doing some of this. Well, I was yesterday.
You were. You worked outside a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I got some weed pulling going on, some of the weeds, cleaned up some of the bushes. trimmed up some of these trees and stuff in the backyard. But the long and the short of it is my back did not appreciate it.
No, it did not.
As much as you appreciate and I appreciate the house looking nicer, my back does not appreciate that at all.
Was it worth it?
No, not at all.
No. I feel terrible for you. I mean, you've been plagued by back spasms and herniated discs and all of that for years now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I had it under control. It was really from my early 20s to maybe my early 30s, because the last real bad one was the night Bear was born.
Yeah,
And we know that story pretty well, but
do.
yeah, no, I mean, I didn't know what it was for the longest time, and I don't know if it was just because I stopped playing so many sports and I wasn't stretching as much, but I think the long and the short of it, the root cause is just lack of flexibility in my hamstrings, which causes back spasms, kind of. And this isn't just your run-of-the-mill back spasm. I mean, I've got some stories.
Oh, you have some incredible stories, and this is also, a lot of people would probably, they see you stretching. You stretch a lot
All the time.
especially soccer games on the sidelines when you've been standing or sitting in lawn chairs, which aren't great support.
Right.
And I don't think anyone's ever really asked you, like, hey, why are you stretching, like, in the middle of just everyone?
Yeah,
And
it's not my gymnastics career.
No. So for those of you who have always, inquiring minds want to know, well, we'll just tell you why. It's because of the bad back.
Yeah, I hate to say it's bad back, because now that I know, for the longest time I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple, bulging discs. I've got a couple degenerative discs. So I've got some back issues in the future that are gonna really kind of think come to. It's gonna come to a head at some point. That hasn't yet. I've also got another issue in my neck now too, where I've got a pinched nerve in my neck through my spine, because that's another new issue. Getting old. This is what they say about getting old. It's not necessarily graceful. I'm talking to the lady that's in a knee brace.
I know, like one simple fall
Yeah.
on a ski slope, like not doing anything crazy. Yeah, I know. We are like the just stereotypical, like, old couple with these injuries, and which is ironic because you especially work out, you keep it loose. You went for a run right before you were out doing yard work, which really helps your back most of the time.
Well, that is why I run.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy running at all.
Yeah.
I know some people love it and whatnot. I do like getting out, and it's nice in the morning and the sun and the birds and all that kind of stuff. I do like that. But it's mainly to keep my back loose. So I have to stretch. I have to get at least a run in every other day to keep my back loose, or else I get these back spasms. But to my point earlier, I've had it under control for 10 years now, almost 15 years now.
Yeah.
This is kind of the first time, and I'm not bad right now. It's just tweaked just slightly.
Yeah.
But more so than usual. I don't know why this time is worse, but I mean, I used to always do it playing basketball after, now this is just in my 20s. So this is after, I was done on actual teams and whatnot. So I'd be playing pickup games at, 24-hour fitness or something like that. But, I remember one time I went up to jump, to get a rebound or something like that. And I felt it the second I jumped, and I literally came down crashing to the floor. And again, these are not just run-of-the-mill, like I'm going to limp around back spasms. These are back spasms that I'm literally yelling, whimpering in public on the basketball floor. They had to drag me off the floor as I'm like whimpering, like grimacing.
Yeah.
Because it's full body. I mean, outside of my kidney stones, this is by far the worst pain I've ever had.
Oh, well, I remember.
You've had them now.
Yeah, once.
You had something similar, a year ago or so?
A couple of years ago, it was awful. It was awful.
And I remember saying, I'm like, I hate that you have it, but I'm glad you have an idea of what I went through back then, because, I remember at CSU even, I had this one of the first times, and I was just on the couch. They got me back to the couch. I have to have people. So literally to finish that 24-hour fitness one, they dragged me off the court, a basketball court, just a pickup court, like all these guys who don't know each other.
And it's like,
they're like, get the guy off the court. You know what I mean? Like, what is wrong with this guy? Yeah.
Writing the chalk around you, apparently.
Yeah. Well, no, they dragged me off the court. So I'm a foot off the line now. And I'm laying there for like 20 more minutes because I can't move. No, I cannot move anything in my body. And if you've ever done this, you know everything runs through your back.
Yeah.
Your posture,
Yeah.
your core, all that kind of stuff. So moving your neck, moving your head anyway goes through your core.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally cannot move without it sending just a shock of the second worst pain I've ever had.
Yeah.
And it's lasting. So I laid on the side of the basketball court for 20 minutes. Like, I can't only imagine what those people thought. Like,
If they didn't know you.
what is that guy doing? Like,
Yeah. Well, especially if you're playing with like older players and you're in your 20s and they're looking at you like you're in your prime, man. What's going on?
yeah, it's not like I got off the court and went and sat down on the bench and was just put my head down and like just taking a moment to catch myself. No, I laid there like a limp dead fish on the side of the basketball court for like 20 minutes, till finally I think somebody like went and got a manager, or maybe I asked for that.
Right.
I need help.
Right.
I got to get home now because I can't walk. I can't move, let alone walk. I drove there. Long story short, on this particular event, I've done this badly during that 10, 15-year period.
Yeah.
More than a handful of times. Maybe less than 10, but I mean, the bad, I've tweaked it a million times.
Right.
But the bad ones like this one, I was in Kansas City at this time. And the manager of 24 Hour Fitness and 3 other guys carried me to my car, put me in the back seat of my car. The manager had have somebody follow him as he drove my car 15 minutes to my apartment in Kansas City, where they then had to drag me up to the stairs and lay me on the floor, my 3rd bedroom apartment building.
What?
Where I had a roommate at the time. And I laid on that floor, sweaty, right? I had been playing basketball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're not clean.
For 2 days, for 48 hours, just grimacing in pain. I tried to like wash myself with like a wash rag because I was sweaty.
Yeah.
And now it's all dried on me, but I cannot move because the back spasms are so bad. 48 hours into it, at the time I was in college, I was, I worked at like the Cheesecake Factory or something stupid.
Yeah.
Not stupid, but just
yeah.
What you do when you're in college.
Right.
I had 3 jobs at the time probably, but
Right.
I didn't have medical insurance because I'm working all part-time jobs. I work
You're in
around
college,
20
yeah.
out, 20 credit hours, after now I'm a non-traditional student at the time. So, I'm just trying to make things work. It was so bad. Well, I'm also having to use the restroom in the middle of the floor of the family room because I can't get to the bathroom. I literally did not move from that position, just writhing in pain all night long, all the next day. So I called an ambulance to come get me. They gave me laughing gas. They took me down the stairs in a stretcher. So when I have these things, and if you've ever had them, they're bad and
Horrible.
And I don't know. I think everybody says they have a high pain tolerance. I have a high pain tolerance. I mean, I can't feel whatever. I have a high pain tolerance.
Yeah. Yeah.
These bring me to my knees. Not even to my knees, prostrate to the ground for
Yeah.
hours, days on end.
Yeah.
Till I figured out that laying down on them was the worst thing I could do.
Yeah.
Like, that day, the greatest thing, they gave me laughing gas. I got a shot in the butt. I mean, like adrenaline and, all kinds of stuff, but staying active, staying loose, walking on it, trying to keep it loose is what helps. So if I kept the cameras rolling after I sit here for 40 minutes and then try to get up, it would be pretty funny. I'll look like I'm 98 trying to get up.
Ooh, we should try that though.
I'll go for a walk.
We're going to have to go for a walk. Yeah.
And then watching you get up and you're...
Oh, man. You all are going to be like, that couple's in trouble.
But you know it now, because when you did it, like
I
remember being like, see, you can't putting your socks on is impossible.
Right.
You got to bend your neck, everything.
Yeah. Well, I say, so I've really only been through one of these. I think one of the really bad ones, we were still living in separate cities. And so I wasn't there to see all the nitty gritty. But I jokingly say that you're the reason I went into labor with our first one, our first child, because you were getting ready to go to work that day, and I was very pregnant, and you couldn't put on your socks or shoes. And so I had to help you put on your shoes that day. And just, the physics of being 9 months pregnant bending down trying to help a man put his shoes on was probably enough to send me into labor because I went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, you should probably stay here.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. But then, you poor thing, you had to walk with me for hours. You know, that's what you do when you're in labor. You walk.
Yeah, you literally went into labor that night. So
that night.
to make sure people go, everybody that's had a kid knows it. Like
Yeah.
they tell you, like, you're not quite ready, do some laps.
Do some laps. And at one point you're like, I gotta sit down.
And being a good
Gotta
supportive
sit down.
husband, I'm like, well, I mean, obviously I can't just like send my pregnant, my literally giving birth in the next 24 hours wife
Yeah.
on her own out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
You walked with me.
you were faster than me.
Yeah.
I'm dragging a leg.
You were. And then, quite literally, as I'm giving birth, the nurses are like, do you need a place to sit, hon? Like, they're all about you and
Very
taking
concerned
care
about
of
me.
you and like making sure that you're comfortable. And I'm like,
As I'm standing bedside, but
trying to.
standing straight up on a hard floor though is the worst
Was the worst. Mm-hmm.
for a long period of time in the same spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Which the first is always a very long process to get that baby out. So, I just remember being like, hello.
Yeah, I totally stole your show that night.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, as you gave birth.
Yeah.
They were more concerned with my pain than yours.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, really, because they see the pain that I had. They see that all the time. And they're like, she's going to be fine.
yeah,
Like,
that's probably true.
She's fine. Like, this is just the process.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's in a lot of pain. You were probably white as a sheet. I don't really, sadly, I don't really remember like your face being pale or whatever. I remember being very conscious of the fact that you were in pain and that this was a sacrifice for you to be like.
It's going too far saying sacrifice.
Well, yeah. It was very.
I was in pain. It was
You were in pain.
uncomfortable. I was probably grimacing. But I mean, like, you do what you do. I mean, anybody else would have done the same thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not like, I mean, I did get a Medal of Honor for it.
You did. You got that gold medal. Like,
Gold star.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But
I mean-
and that's why, like, I always laugh, like in church, right? When you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
stand
yeah.
and sing, during the worship period, like I'm swaying back and
Swing.
forth because I cannot stand straight up.
Yeah.
on
Well,
a
I just
hard
thought it was because the
surface.
spirit was moving you.
And well, that's where I was going with this. Is like I think people behind us think like, oh man, that guy is into it. He's got the sway going on. The spirit is in him. Praise Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
Hallelujah. But
Can I get a witness?
yeah, no, that's me keeping my back
Yeah.
loose.
Yeah. Well, because it's a cement floor. You're just trying to keep it loose.
Yeah. People that know.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
know it's and I don't want to do it again. And it was my days of it, I guess, pulling weeds and bending over, all that kind of stuff in the backyard. It's got to come to an end. I'm getting old for that.
Yeah. Or at least just shorter durations. It would have been helpful had I been able to help you. I don't have that bending radius yet. I mean, I've pulled quite a few weeds. Like I can help. So we could get twice the work done if I were to help.
Yeah. We're both smiling at each other because I think that's one of those things that you believe that you help a lot in.
No. I wouldn't say I help a lot, especially since we've moved here. I haven't done any yard work since we've moved here.
Yeah.
And it's a big property.
So it would be a
I'm kinda-
shocker
Yeah.
if you actually got out there and helped.
Yeah, I haven't pulled weed. You're right. I pulled weeds though at our house down the street.
Yeah, I don't.
Quite a bit.
I
Every
will,
year.
I will make sure I say you pull more than your weight at this household. That I am in no way, shape, or form saying that you're lazy about that. You're not. You're busy doing your own stuff the whole time. We've always been really good about divvying up things, and
Yeah.
generally speaking, that's one you don't have a lot of time for, and
Yeah.
you don't have a green thumb, so it's nothing that you enjoy.
No.
But
no.
I always get a laugh out of it every time you do it. You've done it for 20 years that I've known you. Like, oh yeah, let's go do weeds, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Because I think in your mind you're doing more weeding than you really actually are.
Like springtime, I think I would help, but it's like the weeding is like a 3 season out of the year kind of a thing.
You gotta keep up on it.
And you got to keep up on it. And that's where I fall off. Like, I'm like all gung ho those first couple really nice weekends. And
Yeah.
like, let's pull weeds and let's mulch and then I'm like, okay, we did that for 2-3 weekends. I'm good.
Yeah. It's not one of those things you can just kind of be over. I'm over this one.
Right.
It's
yeah.
like, oh, I did laundry 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yeah, do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, I'd be interested how our listeners kind of divvy up chores in the house, right? Like, we kind of have like a pretty clear line of like, these are the things you do, these are the things I usually do, and then there's a few things that we do together, but.
And then there's things that we pay people to do.
And then there's things that we pay people to do,
which gets longer and longer and longer every year. And now.
It's going to get even longer.
Well, it's going to get even longer, yeah. We're going to get some people to weed for us. It's going to be fantastic. And you just put more things on that list till you're in an old person's home and you're paying people to help you go to the bathroom. That's just where it ends. And we're about halfway down that list.
We are. Oh, man, if they start helping us go to the bathroom, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Well, because we've tried to have our kids help.
Help with what?
Like some of
Let's be clear what we're helping. Not going to the bathroom.
Not going to the bathroom. Gosh, they've never. No. But like the weeding, wasn't it a couple weeks ago? Where was I? Because I can't really go outside.
Oh,
and
you were
do
probably
anything.
weeding, helping, honey.
I was, yeah.
You know how much you like to do that.
I know.
Such a help on it.
Such a help. You had the kids doing hard labor outside, though.
Yeah.
Just a few weekends ago.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember where I was.
Well, our oldest is still paying off from the hood, the $600 hood that we had to replace on somebody's car.
Uh-huh.
Quick side note story here.
Yeah.
8 months ago, our oldest is blazing down a little hill right next to our house, literally 300 feet down the street. It's a hill down to a T intersection that to one side is a cul-de-sac, and the other side, I mean, it's not heavily used.
No,
especially
it's
from the
not.
cul-de-sac point.
No.
Long story short, I mean, when do we teach our oldest to look both ways when crossing the street?
I don't know. I think that's been a standard rule since he learned to follow directions.
Yeah, I think so. Most kids know that by the time they're walking.
Yeah.
Anyways, he didn't do this on a bike, and he ran head first into a moving car.
Yes,
on
he did.
the street. He went over the handlebars,
Uh-huh.
landed. He's fine, a little scuffed up. Hopefully learned a lesson.
Yeah.
But, bent in the front wheel of his bike, and same thing with this person's hood.
Yep. So we agreed to, help with the cost of the hood of the car. Of course, our youngest is traumatized. I don't think he's ridden his bike since then because he watched the whole thing. And that's always a very unsettling thing when your youngest comes home and is like, my brother just got hit by a car. And it's like, what?
Well, it doesn't help the same hill. A year earlier, he went down there and his brakes
the little one
failed. Yeah, our youngest.
Yeah.
Why he was already traumatized by that hill.
Yes.
And that just took it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. And he hasn't gotten on his bike since, or at least gone down that hill. But yeah, because his brakes failed going down, and he ended up getting stopped by the trash cans that were out.
Yeah. I still think it was a sabotage deal, but someone cut his brake lines.
Yeah.
I don't know, insurance money or something. No, but yeah, they went out and he just went straight in, yelling straight into the trash. I mean, actually, thank God it was trash day because he ran into some, big plastic trash cans.
Trash cans instead of a brick house.
At full, speed going down that little hill. So anyways, yeah, he was. And we've had some trauma in our family because of that. That's where my scar on my chin came from. Most people can't see that, but
Right.
I had 11 stitches before they knew how to do stitches back in the day, so I still have a nice scar on my chin.
Yeah, it's a pretty wicked scar.
Yeah, and that's from riding a bike down a hill. One more time.
Yeah.
My mom's like, hey, we're going somewhere. And I said, one more time, of course. Ran down the hill, little jump in the...
Isn't that always how it happens?
It's always how it happens.
It's always the one more time.
Yeah. I was trying to do a jump at the bottom of it because there was a nice little dip down there. And not only did I catch air, but I jumped off my bike same time, landed right on my chin. So...
Wow.
I can't remember if that was 11 or 14 stitches. I've had a couple.
Yeah, and that's a pretty wicked one.
Yeah.
Our youngest has had the same. They've gotten better at stitches because his little.
He had half the stitches, but he has no scar now.
He has no
already.
scar. Or it's right. You can't see it, and it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, his was just someone landed on him, and at daycare, I remember I get a call from daycare, and they're like, "You're gonna have to come pick your son up. Like he needs stitches." And I'm like, "Show me a pic." I'm thinking that they're overreacting, right?
Yeah.
I was like, can you just send me a picture? I'm on my way, but can you send me a picture?
Yeah.
And it is a gash that you could measure. And I was like, I will go a little faster.
Yeah.
But that one was he wasn't doing anything bad, or his friend didn't mean to hurt him.
Yeah. Straight down to the tile floor.
Yep, straight down to the tile floor.
At,
and
what, 4 years old? 3 years old?
Yeah, three.
He was still at the...
He was, yeah, because the poor kid, as he was getting stitches, he's like yelling, "I have to go potty," and he was like strapped down at that time. Literally, she was sewing, and we had we're like, just go in your pants, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, and he was, poor kiddo.
Was that what they made him do? Because I wasn't there for that. Where was I?
You were with the 2 older kids out in the waiting room. Yeah.
I got there. I showed up late.
You showed
up
up late.
with them.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
right. And you were inside there.
Yeah. So I think you were man in the fort with the other 2. I felt so bad.
Well, they've come a long ways on that. We were talking about just today, you were looking at your incisions.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to have
Oh, I won't have
any scars.
No, it'll be within 3 years, I will have 0 scars. Maybe in a year, I'll have just these teeny tiny ones. I mean, the surgeon was saying, he's like, I like to channel my inner plastic surgeon.
Yeah.
And he gave me internal sutures.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't even have external stitches.
So, this is one of those things, again, we're getting to that age where, and I've been there for a while now, it's like when I was younger.
And I was like,
This could be a segment. This could be a segment on the show, like a recurring one. Like, when I was younger, we didn't have this, we did this. But does anybody get staples anymore? Do you know?
I think so.
People do get staples. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think so.
Because I've got all these scars on my lower legs, right?
Yeah.
That's what ended my college career.
Yeah.
I call it a career, but
Yeah,
that's what ended my college playing basketball days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was I had surgeries on both my lower legs. One of them, a nerve was cut, and there was an issue, and it was a long-standing medical follow-up after that. But because of that, and there was exploratory surgeries, they had to go and reopen it multiple times. But
It makes my knee hurt to even talk about.
I remember when they opened it up for the big exploratory one, trying to fix the nerve in my lower leg. They used staples to close it up, and I had like 20 staples going down my leg, and it's like I've got a big old nasty scar from that now.
You do. Mm-hmm.
I mean, did they not think of that kind of thing then, or is this because it was a different? No, that was the same doctor then. I ended up suing this guy. I mean, I didn't. It's not like I didn't make any money off of it, but
Right.
I did, but such a minimal amount that it was ridiculous. For losing my basketball scholarship,
Right.
or I never played again after that.
Yeah.
At a high level.
Right.
I mean, at least
Well, you have nerve
organized.
damage.
And I've permanent nerve damage down there.
Yeah.
And now I have a nice scar from it too.
Right.
That was a big tangent there too. When I was young,
When
they still used staples. And they didn't care about cosmetic, not having a big old scar, because I've got scars all over from,
Yeah.
the few times I've had either staples or stitches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think they do use staples sometimes, but I think there is medical medicine has progressed to a point that they don't always have to. I mean, like, I remember even when our youngest cut his chin, it was such a clean cut that it was like, well, maybe they can glue that closed, and it was too wide.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing what they do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I know my sister had similar surgery to me, and she has a massive scar on her knee.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yeah, and I don't know what extent of her injury was, but I know yours. You checked at least 3 boxes of things that had to be fixed while they were in there.
Yeah, yeah, and she had 2, but I mean, she has a big old scar.
Yeah, they opened her up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
versus 5 little incisions for you.
Yeah, and again, I don't know like how much more or less damage, but. It's just crazy how, well, and even when I was talking to someone about this surgery, this person told me it was the worst pain she's ever had in her whole life. She's like, I've had multiple surgeries.
So for the record, don't do this.
Don't do this.
This person still thinks she's in the right. Like, I just wanted to bring you back to reality.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I'll be fine. It's all good. And part of it was I kept saying these things for my own self because
You were staying positive.
I was trying to stay positive, and because
Try not to freak yourself out.
Right. Like, because I don't know. It's scary enough going into surgery. even if it is a routine surgery, it's still, there's a lot of unknowns. And so I kept being positive for my own self to be like, I got this, I can do this.
Yeah.
And she's like, it was the worst pain I've ever had. I've had multiple surgeries. I've never felt anything this bad. And I was like, what? And I did ask her at the time, I was like, when did you have this done? She was like, 2008. And I was like, okay, that was a long time ago. 2008,
Yeah.
believe it or not, was a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, medicine's probably come a long way, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, and that's bad, but I think her justification, even after the fact, that's almost worse of what she said.
I know.
Tell him what she said.
She's like, you were just being so positive and so like blasé about it. I just wanted you to have a dose of reality.
And who named her the reality queen of America? Like, I
Right.
just need to make sure everybody's feet are on the ground here.
Right.
Don't you dare have a positive attitude going into something that could just ruin your life.
Right.
What if they cut an artery and you lose a leg? It's happened. I mean, they got a name for that lady. Wah, wah.
Aw. It's Debbie Downer. Like, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
It's just,
That bugged me though, that somebody took it upon themselves to be like, you're just being too positive.
yeah.
I need to give you a dose of reality to bring you back down to the
Yeah, because it honestly sent me to, and
because
this
it
is,
changed the way you thought. It made you nervous again.
I was terrified. In that instant, my instinct was to call and cancel and make up some excuse to cancel. Now, logic pulled through, and I was like, you can't do that. Like, that's absolutely stupid. But, like, for that split second, I wanted, like, my reaction was to run and avoid because it scared me. But anyway, it is what it is. But I mean, yeah, I think the injuries have just, I don't know. Hopefully your back it doesn't seem to be one of those like high watermark, super, super horrible ones yet, but you're definitely uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable. It's one of those things where, I mean, it's going to go one way or the other, right? And sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes another little tweak just sends it over the edge, and then it's, it's 2 weeks till you're back to moving normal.
Yeah. So I will ask though, what is worse, back spasms or kidney stones?
Kidney stones.
Yeah. Okay.
Kidney stones are the worst. I mean, the last time I had them, I think I said to you in one of those, and it took me 4 days.
That was
pass
awful.
These ones, and I remember saying like, I can understand why people just want to, if you're in the worst pain you've ever been in,
And
for an extended period of time.
yeah.
I literally said like, I can see how people might just say, I'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Like it's been a good life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't ready to call it a day then, but I mean,
No, but-
because I knew this would pass.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, I was like, I can see like living in that kind of pain and at that point, it had just been 4 days.
It had been 4 days.
So, I mean, I was short of 100 hours of just pure exhausting pain.
Yep.
That was
Not
rolling.
sleeping,
Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
It was rolling, but it was rolling. I mean,
It was, I mean, it was
you
crippling.
saw it.
It was
You saw the
crippling.
thing in itself.
Yeah.
So no, back spasms. I don't want to have to pick one or the other, but
I was just curious.
not even close. I mean, they're terrible. Don't get me wrong.
Both are awful.
I mean, back spasms, on a level of 9 to 10 are a 10.
Yeah.
Kidney stones are 1,000.
1,000,
probably.
yeah.
I wouldn't want either. Or wish them on I probably would wish them on my worst enemies, but
Only the worst of the worst enemies, though.
worst of the worst. Yeah. The worst of the worst. We were talking about things that we don't have today,
Yeah.
or that we do differently when we were younger. And one of those things that we had just this week, which was scary for us,
Yep.
was there was a lockdown at one of our schools.
Yep. Yep.
And we didn't, I didn't even know about it. I didn't even get the email or the notification.
Yeah.
You did, so
And
at
I
least
did.
you knew about it real time.
I did, although I think I didn't really think through it all the way because it said, this type of lockdown, there was activity in the area is how they phrased it in the email.
Okay.
And so I'm like, okay, nothing is at the school, and that, classrooms are teaching and everything is resuming as normal. It's just we don't let anyone in or out of the school.
Yeah.
What I failed to connect the dots to is that our daughter was outside at athletics.
Yeah.
And so she was outside the school
Potentially near
potentially
to the
near
perimeter or wherever it was.
wherever
Proximity,
it was. It
right.
was, yeah. And I also failed to appreciate that the coaches and teachers that were outside with the children at athletics probably had less context than those that were in the school.
Yeah.
Because there was something going on the intercom or something. And so I think there was, not I think, I know based on my daughter's, but just based on her explanation that it was chaotic and scary.
Well, she said that they're yelling, "Run, run!" They're trying to get them inside the school, into the locker rooms. When somebody says that, I mean, literally, it was on the national news, I think. But just 2 weeks ago, some of our daughter's friends were at a cheerleading competition where 2 dads got into a fight and were yelling back and forth, and something fell
Right.
in there.
Right.
And when it hit the ground inside this cheerleader gymnasium, wherever they were at, it sounded like gunshots. It wasn't, but it sounded like it. And there was stuff, social media, it was on the news all over. People ran for their lives.
Yep.
And I just, my point was, we grow up in an age where we did not grow up in an age
No.
where, at least where I lived, where that was something we had to live through or worry about, code reds. And, we tell our kids, like, I mean, how sad and scary is that you have to tell our kids, like, if it's true, you're in a code red, like, I'm sorry, but you need to be in the back of the room. Don't be in the front row. Play dead. You need to, text me if you can do it safely, quietly, put your phone, you know what I mean? Know that dad's coming. I mean, after we saw what happened in some of these places, even in Uvalde and Texas and stuff like that, if these first, responders aren't going to, take it serious, and I mean, I get it. No, I don't want to see anybody lose their lives.
No.
But if that's your chosen profession and you're sworn to protect, you better protect.
Yeah.
At risk, because that's part of the job.
Yeah.
But I told my kids, no, I'm coming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gearing up and I'm coming. I will get you.
Well, and I think some parents did.
And that's why I didn't know about it. So I was a little mad after the fact that I didn't even know about it.
Yeah. And because it was, it seemed innocuous and that it was precautionary, and me not making the connection, like, hey, she's outside.
I still think a text to me in the future.
Yeah. Is like, hey, did you
just
see
so
the
I can
email?
at least I can stay on top of it. My schedule, Megan's back to back to back to back to back. You are a very important person when it comes to work. So
No, I just have a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
That's my job. to be in meetings.
Yeah. And but you've got to, when it comes to something like that, you got to at least let me know, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you're meeting. I know you guys are solving the world's problems in that particular meeting, but our kids are way more important than that.
Yeah. And
so I've got to know about that.
Yeah. Well, I think.
So that I can stay on top of it, because I just have a more flexible schedule than you do.
Yeah.
I can look it up. I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's really that bad, I can drive over there.
Well, and I looked it up and there was nothing. I mean,
There's nothing all day long once I found out about it.
Yeah. And there was something on Keller Neighborly.
There was a bomb threat is what it was.
Yeah, it was a bomb
at the church next to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, to bring this back around to more silly things, I mean, like the things that we got evacuated for school, it was never for that. Columbine obviously was the first time, and that was well after. Columbine was crazy too, because it was in Colorado, and I had played basketball in that school many times.
That's crazy.
So I had been to that school. Obviously not my school, but I had played basketball up there, and so I was aware of the school. I'd been there.
Yeah.
And that was where the first big one happened. School shooting happened. But that's a new world thing that we've got to find a way to fix. But when we were younger, we got let out for much stupider stuff. We'd evacuate or whatever. I remember one time in science class, I was actually the one that caused the school to evacuate accidentally. Me and I think his name was Paul, and I'll leave last names out of this. But we were in science class, and like, do they still have beakers and stuff like that? Test. What was the?
Like the Bunsen burner.
Yeah, the Bunsen burners.
Yeah.
Bunsen burners are how I lost my eyelashes, by the way. Which you don't believe me that, but our youngest has incredibly long eyelashes.
Yes.
And I used to have comments on my eyelashes until, unfortunately, a Bunsen burner incident.
Yeah.
It singed them off. They were blonde because they were singed for a while. I had blonde ones.
That's crazy.
And then they've just never grown back to that extent.
Yeah.
So that, again, another failure of mine. I lost my L'Oreal scholarship there. My chance to go professional with.
I know, you could have been an eyelash model.
Anyways, long story short, we ended up putting like something like sulfur nitrate in like sulfuric acid or something like that. These little black nitrate, something like that.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds dangerous.
Well, we were in 7th or 8th grade, so don't give us, maybe 9th grade, because my junior high was 7th, 8th, 9th, but don't give us two elements that don't go well together, right? Because we're idiots, right?
What?
So for some reason, we thought, whether we did it right or wrong, I don't even know. Maybe it was innocuous or whatnot, but we ended up putting the nitrate into the sulfur, the acidic, whatever it was. I don't even remember now, but I just said it. And it created the worst smell you have ever smelled. I mean, it was like, rotten eggs, but on.
I can't believe you were not a troublemaker growing up.
No.
But you
Yeah.
made the school evacuate.
I did, yeah.
Because it smelled so bad. Not because you set a fire.
This must have been 9th grade, because this was honors biology or something like that, now that I think about it.
Probably chemistry.
Honors chemistry or something like that, but this was an honors class. And I remember my friend Paul, he took the hit for it. He actually got kicked out of the class because of it.
What?
Yeah. And I think that's just because I was maybe a little better well-known at the school. Just,
Really? Get a little preferential treatment there?
Yeah. I mean, I was in student government. I was yearbook. I was, I was voted best of this, certain things, so I was a known quantity at the school, and I got away with it. I mean, I fessed up to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't
get
any repercussions for it. Right, exactly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I wonder how they got the smell out. Or did it just reek for a long time?
We ended up going back in after 2 hours, but we were all outside. It was a great break. It was fun, but it reeked. It was horrible.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
See, we were never evacuated for anything. I mean, we had snow days that would close down the school, but we were.
Right.
I think we were ever evacuated. And for the record, there were only 2 snow days. I went to school primarily in Minnesota.
Okay.
A couple years in Chicago, but for the most part,
good snow in both places.
Good snow in both places, but there were only 2, and in all those years. And we have at least 2 a year here in Texas?
Yeah, well, I mean, Colorado, we didn't have very many snow
no.
days. We did get some early releases and some late starts because of snow.
Yeah.
But
occasionally we'd get those.
But they're prepared. Those cities are prepared for it. Drivers are prepared for it. I mean, Texans are something else.
Yeah. I do remember though the one was super fun. That was the Halloween blizzard.
Yeah.
That was so fun. And then my older brother's friend had to stay with us because his mom was traveling and she was a single mom and couldn't come back. And so it was just like, we got to play outside. It was warm enough. And we had, I think we got 38 inches of snow overnight or
By
something.
warm enough, do you mean it was like negative 20?
It was like 30, it was, 25 degrees. And so when you're in Minnesota and it's snowing in 25 degrees.
Short weather,
That's like the best. But yeah, we couldn't even see out some of our windows because there was just too much snow.
Yeah.
It was up all over the windows. But the worst, they canceled school because the actual temperature was negative 36 degrees and the wind chill was negative 66, I think. And
so if your memory's wrong, worst case scenario, you're off by 10 degrees, negative 56. But you think
it was somewhere in the negative 60s.
In the negative 60s wind chill.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a record. That's incredible.
It was incredible. It was.
Did you go outside in it just to feel it?
No.
How old were you?
I was in high school.
Okay.
At what year, I don't know. But
that'd be such a cracked reporter. How old were you? Did you go outside? What were you wearing? Were your parents?
I didn't go outside because, it was so cold. It was dangerous. And I remember it was a beautiful sunny day.
I'm surprised your family didn't go running in it.
Yeah, no.
They pride themselves in running in the coldest, stupidest weather ever.
Yeah,
we're gonna go for a walk. We'll go there for Thanksgiving, and they're like, it's negative 20 or it's negative 5 with the wind chill. It's 6 actual, and they're like, does anybody want to go for a walk?
Well, and they all live in cold climates, so that's like normal.
I know.
And we're like, no.
I know. It's the same family that made fun of our kids though for not knowing how to make a snowball. It's like, my kids have never been in snow. This was before we went skiing and all that.
They had never seen snow before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that comment. I'm like, really? Anyways, but they, some people forget that it's not normal to be in negative 66 or negative 5 all the time because our blood down here definitely thins.
It definitely thins. I mean, if we're out at the sidelines and it's, anywhere close to anywhere between 30 and 50, I mean,
What's the young?
we're wearing heated apparel at this point.
If there's a 6 on it, there is, because the wind's cold.
Yeah, it's cold here.
I mean, some people would think that's crazy, but it gets cold here.
Yeah.
What's that kid's name in the Christmas Story who's wearing so many?
Randy.
Randy, yeah.
Randy.
I am Randy on the sidelines.
Yeah.
All the time.
I can't put my arms down.
Yeah, but I'm warm. And I look like a fool because I know I'm just like State Puff Marshmallow Man out. There have been times I've had upwards of 7 or 8 layers.
Yes, you
On
have.
the top. And I've had 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had up to 4 layers on the bottom at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally it's 2, but one of those is, fleece lined.
Yeah. So that technically should count as 2, but yeah.
To itself.
Yeah. I remember when our daughter had, that we both had our ski pants on,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know why it feels colder in Texas at like the same, temperature that they have all over, and you're like, gosh, in Minnesota 50 degrees feels fine. In Texas it is butt cold.
Yeah. Well, and in Colorado, you can be, literally it is shorts weather at 40 degrees outside.
Yes, 'cause
in a long sleeve t-shirt.
The sun is so hot.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Mhm.
It's got the best climate there. But that's why we get to go back.
Yeah. We get to go and enjoy the snow and play in it,
Mm-hmm.
but not have to shovel it. Because with your back, I don't know that you should be shoveling snow either at this point.
Just hire that one out too.
Yeah.
I got to get some more jobs to afford all these people we're hiring.
Well, good thing it doesn't snow here very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it melts pretty quickly too.
No, we've never shoveled here. We do have a shovel.
We have a shovel.
Yeah. Actually, I did shovel this last time.
You did?
Remember, I had to shovel
Oh, yeah.
the walkway to Paris's little
Oh, yep.
potty spot.
Yes. If you have a doxy, they hate snow. So, yeah, we had to shovel the way, and we actually had to shovel off a spot where she would even go to the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
She does not like snow.
Well, what do we got coming up here? We got to keep this thing.
Let's see. Well, it's a spring break week.
Spring
So
break week.
we'll have, we're working. So, the kids will be around. We'll have to, find ways to keep them entertained. But yeah, I don't know.
We got the
kind of a chill.
NCAA tournament coming up.
That's right. We have to fill out our brackets today.
The brackets, yeah, Selection Sunday as we're recording.
So I'll be, do you have an idea of who you're going to put for who's in the championship game?
I don't know. I might have put my money on Duke early, but they had 2 injuries this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Player of the year, I think, up there. He
Yeah.
sprained his ankle, and sometimes that's tough to come back from
Yeah.
in such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't know. It's not my Jayhawks this year, though. That's for sure. In fact,
Yeah.
by the time this airs, they may not even be in it anymore.
Yeah,
They're just so bad this year.
possibly.
It's been frustrating to watch.
Hopefully they show up.
Yeah, I think I saw the Tar Heels might not even make it. Michael Jordan's alma mater.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's a long.
Has that
ways.
ever happened?
Nah, I don't know. I don't think so, though.
Not
They've been low seeds before, but I don't think they've ever been
like,
in danger of not actually making the tournament, the NCAA tournament.
yeah, they'll end up in NIT.
Yeah. So I think that maybe there was one year that did happen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's
Wow.
always fun to watch. So we'll have that coming up. We got spring break. We're trying to figure out how to. We're about 100 days out from our vacation going overseas, and that's taken all kinds of planning. So we're
Yeah.
trying to figure that out, and we're figuring out we plan differently for these kind of things.
Yeah.
I don't think we should show up on foreign shores with no plans. And
Nope.
you're like, oh, we should. Yeah, I think you just haven't thought that far down the road yet that we need to have a lot of things planned out here.
I have. I just am not urgently planning it. No, I want to map out some of them. I think the whole timeline of it's still 100 days. We still have time.
No, I mean, again, I used the Disney, example. Like these hardcore vacationers,
Yeah.
these things have been booked for millennia. I mean, those Disney people were all over it. There's so many things that we didn't get to do at Disney because we tried to do it 5 months out, and people did it 12 months out.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
We didn't get into the steakhouse we wanted to get into. And, we'll figure that stuff out. It's one of the few instances probably that we're not finishing each other's.
Sandwiches.
sandwiches, vacations,
Vacation.
sand castles, beach. I was trying to think how you could make that come around to the
Yeah. To the
vacation, keep
Uh-huh.
it a little bit more like towards what we were saying. We could try it again.
excursion. I mean, like we could. We would just have to.
Finish. We try it again. Like, it's just one of the few things that we just haven't. We're not on the same page all the time because you're not necessarily finishing mine.
Excursions.
There you go. That one works, right? A little bit.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I like that one.
All right, that works. Well, let's say goodbye to everybody unless you have anything else.
No. Until next time, everyone.
All right, until next time. Have a great one.
Bye.
Rock talk.